Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy back in our video, and today we're back with the no brake Blazer. That's my new nickname for it at the moment because it's got no brakes. Anyways, I drove back in the barn today. Finally got to work on it. It's been about like 4 weeks. And today what I'm going to focus on right now is getting the emergency brake things figured out. I got some new brake shoes and stuff for that and some grease. So, sorry, my hands are shaky. I'm shivering. It is cold. I've been out in the cold for about like 3 hours now, and I'm chilled to the bone. I'm like in a barn and I got 2 heaters going. Man, it's cold. But anyways, today what we're going to be focusing on is this. So under the back wheels we have disc brakes. This is the 4-wheel drive model. We have disc brakes in that, and then under the disc brakes is our e-brake, and I'll show you what I mean by that. And if you guys haven't seen them before, I'll show you how to fix it, because that's what we're doing today. Anyways, catch you back in a minute. Alright, make sure you're always do your research on these things if you're doing a DIY. That's why I'm doing this for you, even though I might not be the best quality here. Anyways, you're getting your parts on. Be careful. And especially on anything automotive or anything legal like that, take your time. Don't rush it. Right now, I'm taking about twice or 3 times as long to do this as I'm recording this for you, so I can tell you, take your time on this kind of stuff. Do it in the barn if you have to, if it's winter time. Just take your time. It'll save you mistakes, hassles, mess-ups, anything that could leave you stranded on the side of the road, or even worse than a car wreck and you die. Nobody wants that, honestly. Take your time, guys. Enough of me ranting about that. Let's get back to work. Alright, first thing we're going to do is that we're going to take the back wheel off here. This is the rear right. Both wheels have the emergency brake and stuff, so we're just going to go ahead and get to it. So, fastest way to do this is make sure you got the right end on your 4-way if you're using one on your lug nut, because there's different sizes. I'm pretty sure you all know that. But usually helps just a tad bit. Let's just go ahead and get all these off. I'll end up fast forwarding this part of the video, so this way you're not wasting your time watching this. Alright, now you can kind of see the wheels kind of already come loose. Let's just go ahead and hug her and get her off of there and shove her out of the way. Next thing that we need to do is get under here and undo the caliper. Now the caliper is what basically does all your brake work for you, besides the brake lines and all that. It's basically the hydraulic system that pushes your brake pads against your rotors and stops the car. Now, first thing we need to do is take that off. Now I gotta go find some parts. Okay, so I got the tool I needed to get the calipers off, but now what we need to do is actually get the caliper off, and there's 2 bolts. There's 2. I know my hand's upside down, I'm kind of figuring this out. There's 2 bolts, I need to take them off, and right now we're having a little bit of problems because the brake line hose is in the way on one of them. So we're just going to go ahead and fast forward through this. Basically, you're just going to find the 2 that hook onto your hub and stuff, take it right off, caliper and assembly, and we'll all come right up. Alright, now next thing is that sometimes if you have something in the way and you don't mind taking your time, you can kind of sometimes figure out what kind of socket you need and get the wrench size of that. So that way you don't have to worry about this big bulky socket getting in the way. What I've got is, can't really see this very well, I got a 15mm socket. These are a pretty standard size for doing brake calipers. Now what we need to do now is get a 15mm wrench. Now, heck, I'm not even sure where all the 15mm wrenches are. They're probably over there, if not down here somewhere. So what I need to do is I need to find, okay, there's a 14mm. I doubt I have one in my pocket. Oh, hey, looky here. What do we have? A 15mm. You know, because it says 15mm on the side. I'll put you behind and kind of show you what that's going on. Okay, it's hard to see back here, but I already started one. Right where my wrench is, right there, there's a bolt there. That's what you kind of need to get at. And then there's also another one right here. They're kind of hard to see because my camera does not have a very good lighting system for it. So I apologize about that part. But anyways, this is your caliper. This is your caliper bracket, rotors, and all this stuff will be underneath. Be back to you soon. Okay, after you get your caliper loosened up, notice that you're going to have a brake line over there, and you don't want to stretch that or break it. Well, nice thing is I already have replacement brake lines around here somewhere. I don't know. But we're going to be ending up replacing that sometime soon. So in this case, it doesn't really matter if I break that. I can always do something with it. But just to be on the safe side, what you want to do is you want to grab your caliper, find a nice spot for it, probably around the frame, around the muffler or something, where it ain't going to fall off, and you know where it is. Okay, mine's about to fall off there. Anyways, going back to how you take the caliper and stuff off here. You see where this line is on your Chevy Blazer, there's two bolts right there. They're the bigger ones. These top ones take off the caliper from the bracket. You loosen those two, your thing comes right off, and look at that. There's your rotor. Uh-oh, we got a problem. This rotor's stuck on there. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and spray some PB Blaster or some stuff on it. Whack a couple times with a hammer, see if she'll come off. Also, I should mention, if it doesn't come off with PB Blaster and a hammer, or WD-40, sometimes heat is necessary to get these kind of things off. We're going to go ahead and try that real quick. What this will do is it'll expand the rust in the metal and it'll break apart. It's exactly what you want. Now, put that down. Try banging on the edges. This is an old rotor, so it's going to be really tough to get off. It's tough. I'll let you know when I get the thing off. Okay, so after a little bit of putting the heat on it, looks like we popped it loose. What I did is I hold it in the spot for a while, hammer on the top a little bit, do another spot, just kind of work your way around. Eventually, you're going to bang around it, and eventually you're going to, don't be scared to do it hard. Just eat it. Anyways, be careful. This might be hot, so where I'm grabbing, it's actually cold. So, just going to wiggle it off of there. You're going to throw it to the side. That rotor's getting replaced, so don't mind me banging on it. If you're going to replace the rotors and you're trying to get the old one off, beat the absolute crap out of it. You ain't going to hurt a thing. Now, oh wow! These emergency brakes are shot. There's no padding left on the outside. This is your emergency brake, and it's rusted on there. Now, that's a problem. You know, when you pull that emergency brake, and that cable right there tries to put tension on that, you ain't going to get nothing. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take that off, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to show you how to do one, because it's basically the same thing. So, next up, we're going to figure out how to get this on off, and I'll show you right away. Alright, so before we actually go, you see how rusty that rim is. Anyways, we're going to show you what a brand new one should look like. Now, I got a pack of two here. I haven't opened it up. But basically, it's supposed to go on just like this. Open side down. This is what it's supposed to look like. You can see that there's padding there. There's none on that. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. We're going to go ahead and take it apart, install it, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and tear this apart. Now, some people like to use screwdrivers for this part, and I don't blame them. This can be a little tricky. But basically, I just got this a little bit loose. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to pry these things out of these little sockets or pins. There's one right here, and there's one on the other side here. And basically what that's going to do is that's going to stretch it out, and we're going to pop it loose. And there's a little bracket on top that keeps this from going down any further. We're going to take it out, we're going to slide it out, and put the new one in. Simple. Okay, so we got the old one out. You see that these are just resting on these little bracket pieces. I can't really show you them very easily. You know what? Hold on. I got some flashlights in here. Okay, back in the situation. I got my little handy dandy flashlight here. It's actually a radio too, but works good. Anyways, you see that little, see how it's like a little bit of a slot in there? Looks like a screw except it's bigger. Well, that's what those pieces rest on. I'm going to show you on the other side too. Now this is pretty crusty. My whole protective plate, that kind of fell apart. Anyways, there's another one right there. So that's where those rest on. Uh-oh. Can't get my dang flashlight to shut off. I'll work on that. Anyways, no problem. Let's just throw that over there. Now, you see that there's clips right there? That's what this sits on. That's what that's going to sit on. It's going to keep from going down any further, and it's going to lock into those holes. Perfect. Now, one thing you want to do before you put on the parts in the vehicle is make sure that it's the same exact part, because I don't know how many times I ran into this problem, or other people I've seen ran into this problem. So we're going to go ahead and compare. I already know that these will work. These were matched on Rock Auto. And look at that. Perfect! Even the holes line up on there. So I think we're in good shape. Let's go ahead and get these new parts on there, and we're going to save those, because we're going to actually throw them away. This one, this is the worst rotor I've seen in a while. Man, there's such a big groove, I don't even want to save it. That's going to be good scrap metal, I'm telling you that right now. Good scrap metal. Might have to make another trip to the junkyard this weekend. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get this taken care of, put the new one on, and we'll call it good. Same thing the other side. The other side should be easier because I already know that that one's loose because I replaced the other side rotor. And I'm going to set you guys down and I'll show you how to get the new one on. First of all, I'm going to clean this stupid thing so that way it's a little bit easier to get back off next time I want to change these. Alright, time to get the new one on. Pretty sure it doesn't matter which way it goes. So we're just going to go ahead, make sure we got the part. We're going to go get a wire brush. We're going to do this. Now, any wire brush will work. You also want to make sure that you get something that'll actually work and not mess up your vehicle. Just kind of get all this loose, crusty crap off of here. It's going to save you a lot of money in the long run, especially if you have open seals or worn out vehicle. Sometimes keeping something clean can save you a big hassle. I don't really care about the protective dish. I mean, rotor and pads are just going to be good enough. Now, another thing is, you want to make sure that this thing right here underneath, that has those adjusters and all that, make sure that's clean. For now, I just want to make sure it's going to spin, because I want to get these things back on and have them work. Alright, it's going to go around, you're going to find the two tabs, and then we're going to put them in. Now, problem you're going to run into, these things aren't going to go in right. It's easier to get a two-piece. Sorry I'm blocking your view. It's the only way I can do this. You're just going to stretch this out, back into where it's supposed to go. Sometimes it's easier to do slower. What we have is a replaced e-brake. That looks slick. You can see the big difference out of that, how it actually has pads and it's not rusty. Look at that. We don't have any of that junk that was already here into there. So that's going to save you a lot of looks. Anyways, let's go ahead and throw this thing back on, see if we can actually get it to work. I want to see if my rotors will go on there. I bet you they probably need adjusted. I'm hoping that's going to be loose. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your rotor, you're going to slide it right back on. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed. You're going to put your rotor back on. You're going to line up all your lug holes. You're just going to push her on. Okay, so I wasn't sure where I left off here, but I knew I was trimming down the edges on the emergency brake plate. Anyways, we had a little bit of problem getting the rotor back on because it was a little bit too small due to a lot of rust corrosion, and I didn't want to mess with it. So I trimmed it off a little bit more, shoved it in there, and just shoved the rotor on. So let's just hope for the best. It's not very loose at all. I can't even turn it by hand. It's probably going to have to wear down a little bit for it to get into motion, but basically what you do, once you get it on there, like the pins like I showed earlier, you should be able to slide your rotor right back on, and you're going to be good as new. Next step is just to reassemble everything. I put your caliper on, make sure your pads are in, everything like that. Tighten up those two bolts that I showed you earlier, and final step, put your wheel back on. And that is it, guys. Hope to see you in the next video. Hopefully a little bit better quality than this, because I've just been grinding on here just trying to get it actually back on and working. That's all I'm worried about at the moment. Next videos will show probably how to do torsion bar adjustments, as well as a couple other things like line replacements. Have fun. And then we also have spark plugs and air filters to do. See you later.